Hi, Mike Leland from New Generation Ministries. Good morning from Haiti. I'd like to take just a minute or two of your time to tell you a little story. One day as I was working in the orphanage, the children came running up to me and said, Papa Mike, the police are here at the gate. That wasn't an unusual thing, so I said, okay, let them in. And then we saw the familiar sight of 2 police trucks and a social worker car as they were bringing a child to see if we would take them into our orphanage. My heart sank as I saw the ladies and the gentleman and a young girl get out of the car. She looked like she was about 17. She was dressed in very skimpy clothes, full makeup, and her hair piled up all on the top of her head. As she came over, they explained to us that she was rescued from a school where she had been sleeping each night after the school had closed. She was a restivant, which means she had been sold into slavery to another family. This is not uncommon in Haiti, and unfortunately oftentimes leads to a very abusive situation. Because of the circumstances, they said that they would not take her back if they could find a good place for her. Because of her desperate situation, we agreed to take her into the orphanage. After we signed a few papers, they began to go, and I looked over and I could see the fear in her eyes. She was afraid when they found her in the school, but now she was even more afraid that they were going to leave. She didn't know what would happen to her here. I reached out to hold her and hug her, and we both began to cry. How desperately broken this world can be. As I held on to her, God allowed me to feel inside the pain and the hurt that she had felt over the last few years. And He allowed me to see in my mind some of the abusive situations that she had been in. We cried together for a long time. Soon I called the big girls over and I said, take her up to your room and get her some clothes, some more appropriate clothes. I had a meeting that I was late to. I had to go. I turned to my team members and I said, I'm going to be back in 1 hour, but you have to keep an eye on her because I don't know what to expect. I came promptly back in an hour and ran up to the girls' dormitory, looking room to room to see if I could find her, but I couldn't at first. I went to the room where more girls were, and they were laughing and giggling as I was calling out for her. Slowly, they began to move out of the way until I could see her, and I was shocked. She was beautiful. She had put on clothes like the rest of the girls in the orphanage, showered, and they had braided her hair, which is normal for her age. She was 12 years old. I hugged her, I told her I loved her, and that this would be a safe place for her. The next morning early, she came running down to my door with 2 friends. She had just dressed in a leftover school uniform, and she had the biggest smile ever on her face. She said this was her dream come true. She had always dreamed of being able to go to school. Today was her first day of school ever. And so they turned and went off skipping hand in hand to her first day of school. All too often, this is a normal situation in Haiti. And you can help these kids. For $30 a month, you can sponsor a child like Bergeron. She has been with us now for 2 years, and she's doing very well. An education, nutritious meals, and a safe place to live. You can help. Thank you.